Welcome to Terra Food Forest, where feeding meets forest. I'm glad to have you here as we build a global community of earth healers. This diagram shows the cyclical, community-driven ecosystem we want to build. But before we can actually heal the earth, we have to understand why the current agricultural system is failing us. This illustration shows the core physical flaw of monoculture. When we plant a flat field of wheat or maize, we only capture the sun's energy on one thin, two-dimensional surface. Even when we plant trees, if they are all uniform in height, they fight for the exact same space. The upper canopy blocks the light, casting deep, unproductive shadows on the bare soil below. Transitioning from these 2D flat rows to 3D vertical layers allows us to intercept solar energy that would otherwise be wasted on the ground. It's how we capture every available drop of light from the sky down to the soil. Imagine your garden as a grand theater. In this space, the sun is the superstar performer, the main attraction on the stage. For an audience to see a show, they must be arranged by height. If the tallest adults stand right at the front, the children behind them are blocked. The performance is wasted. This diagram illustrates the structural solution in a food forest. We follow a strict theatrical rule. We place the shortest plants in the very front row, the medium-sized teenagers in the middle, and the tallest adults at the very back. By structuring the biology this way, the plants no longer compete for a view. Every single leaf gets a guaranteed front-row seat to the sun's energy. Before you can arrange your audience, you have to locate your stage. You need to know exactly where your light comes from before you plant a single seed. This compass graphic shows how solar trajectories change depending on your hemisphere. If you live in Delhi or Dallas, your stage sits in the south. But if you're growing in Sydney, your stage is in the north. The compass points never change, but the position of the star moves based on your local geography. Go out at noon and look up. Wherever the sun sits in your sky, that direction is your baseline. It dictates exactly where your shortest front row begins. This biological arrangement is so universal that it scales down to severely confined spaces. You can build an entire theater in a single container. This diagram demonstrates the exact layout. Once you find where the light hits the pot first, you plant short crops like coriander right at that sun-facing edge. Behind them goes a teenager like eggplant, and you anchor the back with a dwarf fruit tree. Because they are stacked vertically, these plants stop fighting for the same footprint of light. This allows them to grow together as a dense community instead of crowding each other out. Even in a single pot, the laws of biological light capture remain exactly the same. Now, we scale that exact same logic up to a high-maintenance, resource-draining residential lawn. This illustration shows how to turn a flat, empty yard into a three-dimensional snack garden. You establish your front line by planting strawberries at the southern sunline. As you move away from the light, you stack upward. You plant berry bushes in the middle and finish with tall peach or citrus trees at the rear boundary. Applying the theater rule transforms a stagnant patch of grass into an efficient food generator where every plant has its own front row seat. Finally, we can apply this framework to massive acreage, even in cold environments like Northern Europe where the sun stays low on the horizon. This cross-section shows the dual utility of a tall back row in those harsh climates. Massive pines reach up to capture light, while simultaneously acting as a physical shield against freezing winds. Because the largest trees are pushed to the rear, the front rows stay clear, allowing shorter root crops and berries to catch every available drop of scarce warmth. Natural systems don't grow in flat lines. They stack, climb, and fill every inch of available space. Designing our gardens to match this 3D geometry lets us harvest significantly more energy from the exact same footprint of land. This graphic maps out our localized design network. I want you to go outside today, find your stage, and tell me in the comments, is your sun performing in the north or the south? Then jump into the Terra Food Forest Telegram to get your technical blueprints and connect with fellow healers. Stop farming alone. Start designing for life. Take care, and I will see you in the forest.